I suddenly feel like two of my favorite anime of all time just had a baby. Yes, Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju and Eccentric family have come together to form one being known as My Master Has No Tail. I just got done with the first episode of My Master Has No Tail, a fall 2022 anime season that apparently is running for 13 episodes. Kind of excited about this series, so let's jump into my first impressions. My Master Has No Tail opens up in the Taisho period, where we have a tanuki has decided to leave her home, or at least got permission to leave her home, to go visit the city that her father stayed at quite often. This city is Osaka. Now, before she leaves, the elder of this village keeps pressing on her, saying, don't try to trick the humans. Just go there, do what you need to do, and get back. Don't try to trick them. All of our tricks that we used to do all the time doesn't work anymore on humans. Times have changed, so just, again, don't interact with anybody, get what you need to get done, and come back. Well, she agrees to this, says, yes, thank you, all right, I'm going by. And then once she gets there, sure enough, this tanuki girl, just cannot help herself. She starts going around and trying to trick all the humans, failing miserably. Now, we get a sense through some flashbacks that the reason that Mameda, this tanuki, is so set on tricking the humans is because her father always told her stories about when he used to go to Osaka and he would trick the humans, all the crazy stuff that he would do to the humans, and they would come home and tell her those stories. But you also get a sense that her father really loved the humans, loved being around the humans. Nothing was ever boring, despite the fact that she's like, look, there's no tanuki there. Aren't you lonely? And he's like, no, the world of the humans is great. Things keep advancing. There's always new things to see. And that's kind of a sense you're getting throughout this entire first episode, is that mankind is moving forward, and they're still moving forward, and this is sort of a fearful thing for the tanuki. They feel like all the tricks they can do in order to trick the humans is no longer working, and they have to hide themselves away. Mankind is advancing and going off into the moon, and we're stuck behind here. But again, Mameda doesn't let that keep her down. She keeps trying, keeps failing, and eventually she decides to trick one lady, Bunko Daikokute. Very quickly, Bunko knows that she's a tanuki and says, you should get the heck out of here. And Mameda realizes this girl knows a lot about me. Like, she knows I'm a tanuki, she knows what I'm doing. There's something special about this lady. And she tries to call her out, but she says, no, I'm not what you think I am. I'm just a Rakugo performer, and then walks away. Well, later on, Mameda ends up coming across this big, huge entertainment hall, and everybody's gathering around. They all want to see what's inside this entertainment hall. And as Mameda gets inside there, she realizes the lady that she ran into the night before, Bunko, she's on the stage, and she's a Rakugo performer doing a performance. And very quickly, Mameda is swept up in this performance. For those who don't know, Rakugo is a performance where a single person, comes onto the stage, sits down on their knees on a pillow, and they're a single person performance. They act out all the characters, and they describe everything that's happening in the scene, so you kind of get swept up in the moment. And really, depending on how well they do that performance, how well they act out each character, and how well they can really capture the audience into the story they're telling, makes a good or bad performer. And like I said, Mameda is swept up in this. She's envisioning it. All the way to the point where at the end of the performance, she actually goes, she tricked me. Like, this lady on the stage, she tricked me. She got me swept up in this world, into the story. Well, unfortunately, Mameda doesn't get to enjoy the moment too long, because very quickly she gets confronted by a bunch of villagers. They're done with her tricks and using leaves as paper money, and they go to chase her. She goes all the way to this tower. She thinks she has an escape route from the top of this tower by jumping off, and a story about how the tanuki can use their sack to stop their fall, but then she quickly is reminded that she is a girl, and so she doesn't have one of these sacks. But now Bunko saves her by her floating boat, captures her, and takes her off. Kind of insinuating, based on the very beginning of it, the very beginning of the show, Bunko gets on the stage, and she said that she's going to tell a tale of a trickster fox and a trickster tanuki. And so I'm assuming that Bunko is going to be a fox, but she also seems to have some big, huge floating boat, kind of like what Tengus and stuff have, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, on the boat, you sort of have Bunko telling Mameda exactly why she does what she does. Why are you amongst the humans? You have all this great stuff. You have a floating boat. Why are you amongst the humans? What we get a sense from Bunko's perspective is that mankind, again, is moving forward, and they're still moving forward to the point where they're going to leave us behind. And so all the tricks that we play aren't going to work anymore. But still, she desires, still to this moment, and I think even the tanuki desire, they still want to be able to trick humans. But additionally, Bunko believes that the humans themselves secretly desire to be tricked as well. And it gives a sense of this, saying that all these people are on the tower and they're like, man, that Tanuki tricked us. She made it. She got on this boat and flew away. After this, Bunko takes Mamada back to a ship to say, go back to your home, stay away from here kind of thing. Mamada decides at that point, no, I'm not going to go home. I want to trick humans. I want to do them just like Bunko. Chases after her master. So essentially, Mamada is going to want Bunko to train her in Rakugo, probably. So yes, that's the first episode. So my thoughts so far, I'm okay. I don't want to get myself too hyped up for this series, but so far, this has been a pretty solid episode. It feels very slice of life. Now, the genres for this series is comedy, fantasy, and supernatural. So it looks like it's going to be in the realm of just a shenanigans around a trickster trying to be a Rakugo performer, and all the goofy stories they can probably tell around Rakugo. Now, why I'm excited so much for this series, like I said at the very beginning, I feel like this could possibly be a melding of two series I really love. Eccentric Family, which is about Tanuki that live amongst humans and they do tricks and stuff like that. They have fool's blood upon themselves, which definitely Mamada is already capturing that. She's obsessed with tricking people. And that's technically what you should get from a Tanuki. But additionally, we have the other side, the Shogun Roku Rakugo Shinju side, which is the Rakugo performers and the performance and the plays that they do. And so far, we've gotten one story told, which was from Bunko's perspective, and I think it did a pretty solid job of it. Now, it's not to the levels of the portrayal that Shogun Roku Rakugo Shinju did, which was more focused on the actual performer and not necessarily showing a vision of what they're telling, but rather letting the voice actor themselves actually tell the story. And I think that was for a purpose. They wanted to show Mamada being swept up into this other world. But we'll see as it goes forward if it can possibly just have the performer perform the actual story and see if they can tell it and capture the audience, or the viewer in this case. Now, there is one aside for this whole situation which has me really excited. For fans of Shogun Roku Rakugo Shinju like myself, you'll be happy to know that Kiku from Shogun Roku Rakugo Shinju, which was the main character of that series, is actually voicing a role in the show. Now, when I first heard about that, I seen this guy and he's got this tux on. I was like, he's gonna be some side character, some businessman. No, he's actually a performer in the show. So Kiku from Showa will be a performer in My Master Has No Tail, which has me super excited. I've already seen the trailer for him. He's apparently got a really bad cough issue because he's done too much of these, but I'm still super excited. It almost looks like he's probably going to be some sort of failed Rakugo performer or somebody that's just, at the end of his prime. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, like I said, solid start. It's got the goofy shenanigans of a Tanuki. It's got a pretty good style to it. I like the character designs and everything. The first performance was pretty funny. It's this idea of these two guys that go to this bridge just to get kind of cool off, let the breeze hit them. They end up seeing a bunch of fancy boats going by. They make a comment about one kimono is really beautiful, but it's got anchors on it. And she says something like, it's to keep it from blowing away from the breeze. And so this guy decides to tell that same statement to his wife when she's wearing a kimono, and it's a really stinky and dirty kimono. So he goes, well, that's a really dirty kimono. And she's like, well, that's so that it can't be stolen. Rather than, yeah, it was kind of cute. I liked it. A lot of really funny wordplay, which I think they translated very well on High Dive. But yeah, I think the second episode and third episodes are going to be really telling, but I'm already excited for this series. Like I said, I feel like so far with the first episode, it's keeping very slice of life. I guess technically it is trying to open up the story, why this Tanuki's here, why she's going to be doing Rakugo. But I think from this point on, we're going to really get a sense of just how much comedy and how much Rakugo it is. I think a lot of people probably want more comedy, but for me personally, I really do want to get into a nice mixture of that because, again, based on Shogun Roku Rakugo Shinju, I really do like Rakugo performances, and if they can pull it off really well, they're really cool ways of telling stories. And I'm totally going to call it here now. I'm going to make my prediction here. I'm 99.9% sure that Bunko knew Mamida's father. Her father has passed away, apparently, so I'm curious if she knew him. It didn't say how her father passed away. Hopefully he didn't get into a hot pot. I didn't know this. When I watched Eccentric Family, that was a big thing. It was if you got caught and this Friday Fellows would cook you in a hot pot. I didn't know that was a common thing in lore about Tanukis tricking people in towns and they cook them in a hot pot. So I'm learning something new every day. Or this manga could be referencing Eccentric Family. That could possibly be a thing. But yeah, the evolution of Tanuki and the new way of tricking humans, Rakugo. I cannot wait to see this show, how it folds out. But hope you guys enjoy this video and this first impression. If you did, make sure to hit that like button down below, comment. Let me know if you check out the first episode, if you're going to be checking it out. If you're new to this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, I will be doing first impressions for all the shows of the fall 2022 anime season. And certain shows that I do enjoy Could be this one. If I enjoy them over time, I'll be doing episode by episode impressions of them, so I hope you guys will stick around. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I greatly appreciate it, but it does, and y'all take care.